Many of our customers are hit much harder than we are. When we realized the severity of the situation, we quite quickly worked really hard to kind of like analyze what was going on and see if there's something that we could do to help other companies out there, but also make the most out of this opportunity for our own business, because we have a tool and a platform that's really well suited to helping other companies in a time like this to figure out ways that they can work to get over the crisis, but also develop their skills and capabilities. I'm Nieminen. I'm the co-founder of Viima. At Viima, we basically help companies make more innovation happen with our innovation platform that basically take the hype out of innovation work and then deliver tangible business results instead. I guess I'll start with my studies. So I have a master's degree in computer science and took quite a bit of business studies on the side during those. So I've always been really passionate about both business and technology. So combining the two was quite a natural career choice for me. Before founding Viima, I worked at a rapidly growing supply chain management software company called Relex, and have worked in quite a wide variety of roles, all the way from software engineering to marketing. I guess what really motivated me and my co-founders to found Viima back in 2013 was that we really wanted to put our skills to the test and try to deliver as much value as possible to others, and also learn as much as possible. We started this accelerator program organized by the Aalto University Entrepreneurship Society. Back then it was called Summer of Startups. I think it's called Give Us Now. Yes. According to a recent Gartner report, we're now the most widely used innovation management software in the world, with more than 9,000 organizations from around the world having signed up for our software throughout the years. And we're also the most highly rated one based on customer reviews. We were founded back in 2013 and currently have 12 employees. We're basically a bootstrap company and have always grown with our revenue from our customers, which has really helped us focus on kind of like delivering real tangible value for them, which I think some venture funded startups seem to forget, unfortunately. That was also what really guided us on focusing on what we're currently doing, which is helping companies to collect ideas from their customers and their employees and all of their other stakeholders, and then help them develop and manage those ideas all the way to innovations. We haven't been hit that hard. Like for us, we're very modern company in terms of our working practices, software stack as well. So basically every employee in the company has been working remotely at least part of the time already. Before this, we've been doing all of our sales remotely from our HQ all around the world. In that sense, it hasn't really impacted us that much. Obviously, some of our smaller customers in industries like event organizing were forced to cut all expenses and cancel their subscriptions with Viima as a result. But fortunately, those were only a small minority of our revenue. We've also been working pretty hard to build a strong balance sheet for years already, and kept a very strict cost control. So financially, we were really well prepared for basically any kind of a situation. In that sense, it hasn't been that big of a deal for us, at least so far. Many of our customers are hit much harder than we are. When we realized the severity of the situation, we quite quickly worked really hard to kind of like analyze what was going on and see if there's something that we could do to help other companies out there, but also make the most out of this opportunity for our own business, because we have a tool and a platform that's really well suited to help other companies in a time like this to figure out ways that they can work to get over the crisis, but also develop their skills and capabilities so that they can come out of the crisis stronger. We've worked pretty hard to provide our customers with guidance on how to cope with the situation in terms of how to use our software with that, but we've also decided to make the basic plan of our software free for an unlimited number of users for the duration of this crisis. And that's really led to a huge increase in interest for our platform, and the companies signing up for it have actually doubled since February. It's really been great to see how other companies have also seized the opportunity, and we've been really able to help a lot of organizations rally their whole organization around finding novel ways to cope with the situation. I think the first thing is that, of course, you have to have the infrastructure and the tools in place to really be able to do that in the first place. So I guess that's part of the reason why so many companies have been flocking to Zoom and Microsoft Teams and all of the other cloud collaboration tools, just like our software as well. And of course, getting used to the new way of communication and knowledge sharing is also something that might take a bit of getting used to. And I don't think there's just one correct way of doing things there, but it's just a matter of finding the right ways to communicate that make sure that everyone's still on the loop, and you can kind of keep an engaged culture with obviously the social distancing, things can get a bit lonely. So it's good to still find ways to be able to keep in touch and up to date on how things are going. Of course, that's a bit of a challenging topic because everyone is in a slightly different circumstance. So if you have children and they have to stay at home now, it's probably going to be pretty difficult to find those times where you can focus and get things done. I'm in a fortunate position where I don't have a lot of disturbances at home. I'm actually finding myself being more productive than working from office, because there's less things suddenly popping up from everywhere. So I guess it's just a matter of finding those quiet times and finding those places where you can focus on things and get time in the zone, so to speak. So obviously, from an entrepreneur's point of view, these are challenging times since many small businesses are going to be hit very hard. So the first thing any entrepreneur really has to do is ensure the survival of their business. Every entrepreneur must also remember that crisis also reveals plenty of new opportunities and speeds up the adoption of certain things. So once you have ensured the survival of your company, it's time to really again look for those new opportunities and make the most out of a difficult situation. Main lesson is to not just focus on the threats, but also look for those opportunities as new ways to do business and grow. For obviously for our customers and every other business, tough times are when you need innovation more than ever. After all, productivity growth that comes from innovation is directly responsible for 85% of all economic growth. So if we want a strong recovery as a society, but also as a company, then you cannot not be investing in innovation. There's also some really interesting research from the duration of the global financial crisis that shows that the best innovators were able to deliver more than 13 times the shareholder returns of the average company during that crisis. So even though it's a bit too early to tell at this point, based on how the markets are now reacting, it looks like the figures will again be of a similar nature. So those companies that are really being innovative and are really the front runners in that are going to win big time from this crisis, and others are unfortunately going to be left behind. It is a matter of really investing in innovation and finding ways to make improvements. And if you're not used to doing innovation, then you should start small and find those productivity improvements and incremental things that you can improve in your own products and services, but of course also in your ways of working. And then, of course, if you spot these bigger opportunities, then it's good to go after those as well. But that might be challenging if there are so many fires burning at the same time. When the government announced the support packages for companies, we took a look at that and a look at what they had on offer, and saw that one of the bigger new development projects that we're actually starting to work on right now would have been quite a natural fit for what Business Finland grants were designed for. So we briefly considered applying for it, but we knew that the relief fund was very limited in size, and knew that there were tons and tons of companies that needed the funds much more than we did, because we're our business is still going quite strong. We decided not to apply for those government grants and leave the funds for those who really need them. For example, my dad's a cab driver entrepreneur, and obviously his business has basically halted entirely, and there's he's a sole entrepreneur, so support isn't probably as strong as it should be for companies like that. But of course, it's a really difficult situation, and the government has to react really fast. So I think it's great to see that there are some support. There is some support available, but I don't know if it's enough for those companies that really need it. But then again, I think some companies that might not have needed it have also gotten quite a bit of support. So it's really difficult to find ways that would work for every company with as quick of a timeline as it is now. So I think that's a really difficult situation for if you look at a couple of the lessons that I think this crisis has highlighted, I think first of all, regardless of if you're a small startup or if you're a bigger company, I think this has highlighted the importance of being financially responsible and prepared for any kind of a crisis or market situation. And just having too little cash or too much leverage is simply irresponsible and a huge disservice to shareholders. Also, if you're in a financially strong position and not over leveraged, you can obviously make the most out of the opportunities that these kinds of crises reveal. So it's not just a defensive thing, but it's also an offensive thing. So you can invest when you spot these bigger opportunities in times like this. And I think the second one is that the crisis has really also highlighted the importance of being able to move quickly and decisively and to adapt to changing circumstances, which is really what innovation is all about. So I think these are really the kinds of moments where the best companies in every industry really have the opportunity to significantly strengthen their positions going forward. So I would obviously encourage everyone to find ways to innovate and make the most out of the opportunity. Of course, if it's entirely on hold, I think the best thing you can do is try to look for new opportunities and new ways to spot things. I think there have been some really inspirational examples of companies that have had their whole business being put on hold, but then focus on providing help for situations that this might need. For example, providing home delivery of groceries to those people who are vulnerable to the current crisis. So there are always opportunities like that you can seize, and finding the ways where you can use your own expertise and your own skills and resources to really fill those needs is something that I would encourage you to do if your business is completely on hold. We have a lot of resources on our website. In our blog, we have also a podcast and have done some webinars on things that companies might find helpful in trying to innovate. We've also written a blog post recently about how to look at innovation in tough times, just like the ones we're currently in. So I think that might be something that could be very helpful for those in the audience.